All right. Here we go. We are back with episode 45 of the Everybody But Me show. We have two lovely guests joining us today. They come from Love is Blind season 2. They became fan favorites, and I'm just excited to have them on here. They have their own podcast, so make sure you check that out. It's called Out of the Pods, and it's pretty good because it goes with podcasts. I like it. But they reside in the great state of that's not a state. Illinois is the state. They reside in the great city of Chicago, and I'm excited to have them on. Deepti, Natalie, thank you so much for joining us. I'm excited to have you guys on here.
Thank you for having us. We're excited to be here.
Yeah, this is our first radio show, so we're going to try to censor ourselves.
Yes,
no, we're
censor
not.
yourself, please. Now, I'm going to start off by saying, first of all, I am a huge fan of Love is Blind. And I don't think many people know that, but I have watched season 3 and season 4. I'm sorry I have not watched season 2.
Skipped over our show, huh?
I'm sorry. But I have seen some parts because I do remember, Natalie, your relationship, for some reason, it stands out to me. But I'm excited to dive in on it, learn about it. And actually, a producer working on a show I'm working on, she's from your show.
Oh.
Really? Like our season?
Not your season.
Okay.
She said she didn't do your season, but she's filled me in on all of the great things Love is Blind, and I'm a huge fan of the show. And but I'm excited to have you guys on here. You know, we always start this show off with a hard hitting question, and so I want to ask you guys this: do you think your confidence has increased or decreased since going on the show?
I think mine has increased, honestly. Only because now I know how to navigate life a little bit better. Like I get hit with a lot of external things now. And I know the coping mechanisms to make sure that I put myself in a good headspace and, exude confidence. So
I want to learn about those coping mechanisms. I want to learn about those coping mechanisms later, Deepti. But Natalie, what do you got to say?
Yeah, got you.
I feel like going on the show, it's definitely like an ego booster, like you get so much validation from other people, so much support, and your like head gets big for a little bit. You're like, wow, like look at me. So I think that like builds confidence, but I think you slowly need to learn that it's like such a temporary fix, and you just kind of have to build it by yourself at some point.
Yeah.
So I do think that it helped a little bit though, for sure.
Yeah, I think it definitely. I think it helps and hinders, honestly. Because for me, it was like, my confidence, I feel like has always been pretty high, just as me being just growing up at sports, all that. You kind of have to have that natural confidence. But then it's easy to get your confidence taken from you. I've had coaches kind of shake me from my confidence. I've had, relationships shake me from my confidence. I think with the show, like you said, Natalie, you blow up. And then, like you said, it kind of strokes your ego a little bit, and then you kind of come back down to earth a little bit. Then it's like you get so worried, like, damn, do I still got it? Do I not have it anymore? Are they my old news now? They moved on from me, and I think you have to come to terms with all of that eventually.
Yeah,
I think
it ebbs and flows. Right?
Yeah, and I think it's like I have very like honest friends and family, so like they definitely like helped bring me down to earth and be like, look, you can't live off like really like social media and like the comments and the validation you get from that. Like that's not real life at the end of the day.
That's funny because it's the opposite for me because I have such bad imposter syndrome. So my family's like, no, you're amazing. Like, don't forget it. So it's like the opposite for me. So.
Yeah, I feel like I remember at one point in time, I would just find myself only reading 4 negative comments. Like I wouldn't read any of the positive comments. I would just look for like the negative ones. And then
did you know that actually negative comments have a bigger impact on your brain than positive ones do? Like 1 out of 10, like if there's 1 negative comment out of like 8 positive, like that 1 will have like a bigger impact on your brain.
Oh, for sure. I mean, it's because we're so stupid. We just take things for granted, and it's whether it's like someone hyping you up or it's just, a relationship or whatever. So the reason why I ask those questions is because today's topic is all about maintaining self-confidence amongst negativity in the real world and on social media, which I think no matter how big of a star you are, you face all those factors on whether it's social media, whether it's the real world. I think everyone kind of falls under those 2 categories. But I'm excited to have you guys on. But first, I want to learn a little bit about you. You know, I know y'all are
Do it.
Chicago girls. I love Chicago, but why the hell did you go on Love Is Blind?
You want to go?
Yeah, I mean, so the casting notice for season 2, our season, came out, I think right when everything went into lockdown for the pandemic. And so for me, I just applied because I was bored. I saw that season 1 was pretty big on Netflix. If I'm being like really transparent about it, I was like, nothing's going on. I'm stuck in my house. Like, let's just do this and see where it goes. And you know, you kind of get through each round and all of a sudden you find yourself on a plane to LA. So that's kind of how I ended up on there. I had very low expectations and I was like, let's just kind of do this. What about you? I don't know how you...
I actually, I got out of a really serious relationship and COVID hit. And I was like, the traditional dating like really doesn't appeal to me. I hate dating apps in general. And I was like, what a cool, unique love story if I could fall in love this way. And so, yeah, that was the hopeless romantic in me was like, ooh, let's do it.
You're just like me in that sense. I'm like, if I go on The Bachelorette and find love, like, how cool is this to tell my kids? And they can watch it. We can rewind it and be like, yeah, boys, I beat all those dudes out for that lady. But it didn't work out that way. That way.
Life usually never works out how we intended it to.
But it works out how it's supposed to.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. I love that.
What were y'all most afraid of, I guess, when it came to coming onto that show and leading up to it?
I think for me, it's the unexpected. Obviously, we've never been on a TV show before. We don't know who we're going to meet. And like, we're going in there with no support system. Like, obviously, our phones get taken away. So it's like not having, you know, the normal support that we would normally have if we like got a new job or like did a new experience, things like that. So yeah, just the unexpected, I think, is what was a little bit scary, but also exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree. To be honest, I didn't have a lot of fears going in because my expectations were so low. Like I didn't even pack enough clothes for the whole, like, I know I ended up borrowing clothes because I was like, this would be a really cool experience to be on a TV set, but I doubt I'll get engaged. And I just wasn't expecting it. So I think I really went in just being like, I won't get screen time. I'll just like come and go. It'll be a really cool story. And then it kind of, you know, everything kind of blew up. And
wait, hold on.
Yeah, but
why couldn't you buy clothes once you got back to Chicago?
Like, well, yeah, I did. But I meant like when we were in the pods and on our post pods honeymoon, like I was just like borrowing clothes from the girls because I just only packed like, I think like 5-6 outfits. Yeah. And you need at least like 20 or 30, you know, so.
You pack like me, Natalie.
What?
I said, you pack like me.
I know. I literally pack like a man. Like I never pack enough. I'm like constantly just wearing.
I'm the opposite.
Deepti, I guarantee you got like 7 bags.
I call them India suitcases because when I go to India, I take like giant suitcases. I had 2 giant ones.
I think I had to carry on.
Deepti's the kind of person that you're going to go for 3 days. She has 90 shirts.
I do. Yeah. You never know what mood you're going to be in, you know?
I guess.
Yeah, mine's like, for a 3-day trip, I have like 1 shirt, 1 jean, and it's like, live like I know, I have no idea why, but look, I made it work, so I'm like, whatever.
I was doing, I mean, on our show, it kind of went viral because everyone was, I had a salmon jacket I brought, and then all of a sudden you would see different guys wearing, and it's like a salmon, it stands out, you know what I mean? You see different guys wearing it throughout their dates and whatever, and it was always pretty funny to see that.
That's hilarious.
What is something that you say was like the best thing that came out of this show for you? What are you most proud of?
I think for me, what I really appreciated watching the show as a viewer, and what like came out of it was like the fact that minority women we got so much screen time and our families were really highlighted. I remember I got a lot of messages being like, oh my gosh, like your parents, you know, having immigrant parents talk about like showing love in a different kind of way that doesn't match the stereotypes you typically see on American TV. And I was so proud of that. I was like, I feel like that's the best thing that could have happened to like my Korean community and just like the Asian community. So I was so proud of that. I think for me too, I think that whole experiment just like pushed my boundaries and my buttons. Like I was put in situations that like really pushed me out of my comfort zone. So looking back, that's the best thing that's ever happened to me in that way. I could have never experienced that and being so uncomfortable and getting through that without that experiment.
I think I'm going to build off of that. I think that's one of the reasons why the show is so fascinating, because it's so diverse. And you got so many people from so many different backgrounds and ethnicities. Like I remember watching season 3 and Raven and SK were so different, you know, and the Nigerian background with SK and whatnot. And just to try and see how those two worlds collide and merge is so fascinating. And I think you even see that too with, I think her name's Chelsea in the recent season in Seattle. And what was her fiance's name? Or Kwame, you know, like his mom wouldn't even go meet her prior. And that's just different households like value and cherish things differently. And I think that's why I love watching this show, is just to see, you know, all the diverse backgrounds and cultures come together. And I think as a viewer, you watch it, and I think it really shows there's so many boundaries that we can cross, you know, and it's honestly an amazing show for that. You know, The Bachelorette, you know, everything's at face value, you know, but Love is Blind forces you to really try and build a connection, and then you guys meet and it's a completely different worlds. And then you got to make these worlds collide and match and work. It's genius.
I agree. It's a melting pot, which is what America is. So, you know, I love that aspect of it. Yeah, I think for me, it was that, you know, like you said, it pushes your boundaries. I learned so much about myself. And I was like, damn, I'm like capable of a lot more than I give myself credit for. And it was really a test, I think, for me. So that's the best thing that came out of it. I think I just am a stronger person from it.
Yeah. Now, what do you guys look forward to the most, like going forward now?
That's a great question. You know, honestly, the best thing about life right now is that it's so uncertain, because I quit my job last summer. And so I was always a corporate girly. And I was like, I always had a plan. Like, this is what I'm going to do in the next 2 years, 5 years, whatever. And now it's just unexpected. And I love that. You're just like kind of, you know, going with the flow. And I absolutely love that.
I hate that. Like, I hate when things are like uncertain. I'm like, I need to like always plan and have a routine. So it's been really tough because I recently quit my job as well to focus on our podcast. It started doing really well. We hit the top 20 on Apple and Spotify. So we're like, let's do this. Like, you know, like, let's really put our effort into this and see where it goes, especially as like one of the highest charting minority female-led podcasts. But I think in terms of like future-wise, like what I'm looking forward to is, I think taking advantage of all those types of opportunities, like being able to start a podcast off of Love is Blind, which we could just never do without the platform that we built and really the show. Like, we're going to be honest, like realistic and be like, we could have never done this without being on a reality TV show. So I was like, we have to take advantage of it now, because kind of like, when else can we do it? Like 10 years from now, it's going to be a whole different...
Strike fast.
Strike fast. So it was like, yeah, like I'm not saying podcasting was ever a dream of mine, but it's so cool being able to say like, we could reach all these, like all our listeners and talk about what it means to be like us and how the show impacted us and like the BTS of it all. Like, I love that we have the chance to do that. And I look forward to doing that more.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing. Now, Deepti, I know you had a relationship that everyone got to see, and it was a tough relationship. You know, I think that guy, you know, really tried to tear you down, you know, and I think as a relationship, we're always supposed to bring each other up. And he came at your confidence and came at you very negatively. And tonight I want to really kind of harp on confidence. How were you able to take those comments to get past all that? I mean, that's just, I mean, no one needs to hear that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Honestly, throughout my life, actually, I've had very low self-esteem and confidence issues. And before getting on the show, I took like maybe 2 to 3 years to really do a lot of internal work and really show up for myself in a different way. And, you know, it came with a lot of like, honestly, like a lot of like self-affirmations in the mirror, like working out more to feel more confident and just feel good about myself, you know? And that I say this all the time. I think Love is Blind and having the fiance that I did really was a test to see if everything that I had worked so hard to build in myself, like, am I able to really learn my lesson? Like, are you going to let the, opinions of other people define how you view yourself? Or are you going to just say F it? Like, you're going to have self-confidence, and it does not matter if this person thinks you're not attractive, because there's plenty of people that do. You think that you do. So why does it matter? So yeah, it was a huge test for me. And I'm kind of glad it happened, because again, I'm such a stronger person from it, and I feel great, and I feel like I can overcome so many things in life because of that experience. So
yeah, no, I mean, it truly,
I'm so proud of you. I'm sitting here, I'm like, wow.
I know, and I think about everyone has been in those shoes, but everyone, but yours was on a huge television show across the country in a time when everyone was glued to their TVs watching, and for you to go through that in front of everybody, I mean, I commend you. One, you gotta be strong, you gotta be badass, and you are, and look at you today. You're able to stand tall, and it's just amazing. What are some things, both of y'all can kind of answer this, what are some things that y'all do to help you build your confidence?
For me, it's honestly, those self-affirmations are huge. I don't know if you know this about me, but I lost 80 pounds. And so I've really overcome a lot of again, those internal challenges. And so for me, I have really bad body dysmorphia. So when I close my eyes and picture myself, I see this old version of me, right? And so I think for me, really looking in the mirror and being you are badass, you are strong, you are beautiful. All those things really do help. It seems so minuscule, but it really does make a huge difference in the way that you look at yourself. So yeah, for me, that was huge.
What about you, Natalie?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I just remind myself that I'm so lucky in this life, and I've gotten to this place in life for just being me and having loving people around me. So I think I've just always had that in mind. I think it's just, again, reminding myself how lucky I am. I've never always had confidence. I had an eating disorder in college. I had bulimia. So getting through that, obviously I also suffered with body image issues because of that. And so I think it was honestly just getting to a place of reminding myself that I'm just so lucky to be me, and that, life could have gone so many different ways. And I think in that way, it does build confidence of wow, look at you. You're okay, you're good.
Look how far you've come.
You've gotten this far of, for reasons of my very own. So what about you? I'm very curious because you seem like a very confident person. And again, I would say you're one of the most popular male contestants from Bachelor Nation. So I'm always do you ever have self-confidence issues?
Oh, definitely. I think everyone does. And I think, I do. I even have it. I think self-confidence issues, a lot of it for me comes from things that I'm not necessarily good at yet. Or for instance, I'm in the construction industry right now. My confidence is very small. It's grown a lot, but I'm in these big job sites. I had 4 subs at my job today. And I'm I catch myself going to my project manager hey, tell him he needs to fix that. Where I should just go over there and tell him, but it's I don't feel confident enough to have that conversation. And but even just personally, when I look at myself in the mirror, or when I look at myself, or in relationships, I found myself really not confident in myself after my last relationship, 2 relationships ago. And I got my whole head how I need to make all this money. I need to do all these things to try and be that person that she left me for,
Yeah.
And that hurt, and then I realized, since I moved back home to Jupiter, I don't need to be any of that. I just need to be me, and someone's going to like me for who I am and what I am at this point, and they're going to like what I got going forward. And that's hard to get to, because I think we all look at social media, we all look at everything that's going on. It's a big game of keeping up with the Joneses, and I struggle with it. I catch myself sometimes. I'm like, why the hell did I buy the truck that was all souped up? I don't need that shit. Now it's just a damn work truck. But at the time, my ego was like, you need the cool truck. You're finally buying your first car. You need the cool truck. And
that's Oh, go ahead.
No,
Keep going.
and it's a constant battle. I think you just have to be able to check yourself, but also have people that can check you too, that you trust and believe. And then when it comes to physical stuff, for me, it's just every time I go to the gym and I work out and I do things, if I'm feeling down about anything or negative about myself, my image, going to the gym immediately helps me flip that switch.
100%. That's exactly how I built my confidence too. It makes you feel so good. And then also, my favorite thing ever is like comparison is the thief of joy. I'm like, that's one thing I've learned. I'm like, do not compare yourself to anybody except for the like last version of yourself, And
I think it's so easy for people to say that, but like in a world where, especially in the social media world, the world we live in, where everything is so analytical and based off numbers and popularity and engagement and all these things, and it's like you're always looking around.
Yeah.
And that shit's hard, and I think you have to learn how to come to terms with all that stuff and just realize that what you're doing is enough, and that you're giving it your best, even when you don't think you are. You're giving the best you can give then.
Yeah, I agree. No, that's so good to hear. I was gonna say, like, I think when I like framed the question to you, like, do you feel ever like self-conscious? It's always good to hear the stories, because I think that like there's moments where I feel like really self-conscious, or like where I don't feel confident. And then you look around and you're like, but this person's so confident on social media, but this person looks like they have it all. And I kind of see that in you, Tyler, where I look at you and I was like, oh my gosh, he like, like has it all. So like hearing that you have moments too, I think is like a very much, it makes me feel like this is normal, if that makes sense.
I think it's easy to get caught in that, but and then I look at myself like, man, I don't got shit. I'm over here, just trying to learn and work, and I don't know. I think like you said, it's just coming to terms with what you got is all you need, and it's hard to do that.
And it ebbs and flows too. It's like you don't just like reach a place of confidence and then that's it. You have confidence forever. It's like there's so many moments and you go back and forth with it, and it's like experiences change and shake your confidence. It's like how you come back to yourself is really that coping skill. I'll send you that.
How's your confidence in dating now?
Good. I think I'm pretty confident in dating. I mean, again, the same thing, like it ebbs and flows. And, like when your partner doesn't give you what you need sometimes, I used to be really scared of like speaking up and being like, hey, this is what I need from you so I can feel more secure in a relationship. And I think that healthy communication is what I'm learning to do now more in relationships moving forward. Actually, weirdly, Love is Blind made me talk more about my feelings, because coming from a South Asian background, dude, I had no idea. I like don't talk about intimacy. I've never seen my parents kiss before. Like,
wow.
Ever. Yeah. So like it's like a weird cultural thing. Like you just don't talk about it, And so it's really helped me like get out of my shell and vocalize what I look for in a relationship. So
what about you, Natalie?
I feel like I've always been confident in dating, in that I'm always like, if they don't like me for me, like whatever. Like I'm always just like, whatever then. I don't know. It's just something that like developed. I don't think I was always like that. I feel like maybe there was a point where I was more self-conscious, but I think now I'm just like, if they don't like me for fully who I am, like whatever. Like if I'm not good enough for them, like I don't really like care. I don't know. It's like, that's kind of life. Like if someone doesn't love you for who you are, like you can't make someone love you anyway. So I think that's where like I remind myself that. And I think that's where the confidence comes from, of like just believing that we all have like persons out there who would really enjoy like us, and just knowing that we're deserving of love. And so I think that gives me confidence that, I'm just like enough, and reminding myself that.
When y'all are on that altar.
Oh my God.
Where was your confidence at?
Dude, do you want to go first? We both chose ourselves, huh?
I don't know if I chose myself. I like really I couldn't say yes. I was like, it's kind of like stuck.
Dude, for me, oh my gosh. In that entire relationship, in quotes. I was trying to prove my worth to this person because I was like, you don't see me. Like, how do you not see me? Like, as I knew, like I knew I was wifey material, whatever, right? And very close to the end, I was like, holy shit, like, what am I doing? Why am I trying to prove myself to somebody when like I know that I'm good enough? And so that's where my confidence came in. Like in Indian weddings, you put on mehendi, which is like it's like a tradition. And normally you write in like your husband's, who you're gonna marry, like your fiance's name, and they find it. It's like a good luck thing. I actually wrote my own name in and I was like, I'm choosing myself. Like,
wow.
After this, like I don't deserve somebody who's going to look at me as a second choice. And so that's honestly where my confidence at the altar came from. I was like, fuck this. Yeah.
Okay, like I was in a different situation because I was going to say yes like 2 days before my wedding day. And then there was like an off-camera fight that happened that really changed everything. Like he had actually like moved into my like apartment prior. So we were kind of like in the background, like kind of all set, like, hey, we're actually getting married. Are you saying like self-confidence that day? Because it was probably at a zero.
Well, I guess, I mean, self-confidence, confidence in the relationship.
Okay, yeah.
I was like, what am I doing? Like, I was like constantly questioning myself. Even when I said no at the altar and I was like, I just can't do it. I guess in that place, I was like confident in my answer. I was like, this is the best for me. So I guess in that way, like my confidence was high. But I was just like, me as a person, I was like, how did I find myself in this mess?
Yeah.
You're just like, was I just like an idiot? And this is what got me on this reality TV show at this freaking altar with all my family members here, like saying no to someone. So yeah, it was like kind of up and down that day. Like I was proud I said I don't and stuck with it. But was I like, how the hell am I here? Yeah, like I'm a dumbass is what I was thinking the entire time.
Self-awareness.
I don't know if that answers the question, but
no, it does. I mean, I just imagine, being in that situation, especially like not sure of the relationship. You said like you're gonna say yes 2 days ago, and then you're there now. You had a huge fight. You're like, I can't do it, and probably the verbal abuse and negativity that y'all had to go through to get to that situation. Because I mean, you don't go into this hoping to not get married.
Right.
You guys get engaged hoping to get married, and then for all that you have to go through, and the so many times where you should have walked away and you didn't, just to stick it through. It's got to be hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard.
I think for me, it was just really, really tough because that was like very much a real relationship. And I think when you're so close to saying yes and things change so fast, it was just really tough. But I think now that we're like 2 years out of it, we filmed, June 2021. It's like, so what a learning experience.
Yeah.
Like you're just like,
what
wow.
the hell did we do?
The Netflix does all these other types of dating shows. Would you ever do any of them?
No.
No?
I don't think I could.
I think Natalie's kind of like, maybe. I think Natalie might.
Look, I never say no. Like, there's there's been opportunities that I've said no to ultimately, but I always try to keep an open mind. Because I do want something serious, like moving forward. I'm not saying I'm looking for something serious, but if something falls in my lap, I was like, I want to now do everything with intention, and that is like, like date seriously. So if I did another dating show, I don't want it to be like something silly, like too hot to handle. And like real relationships have come out of that. But like for most of the time, you're with men who aren't really looking for anything serious. And I was like, so I would be more picky in terms of what I do and like what the premise is.
Yeah, my mom would murder me if I kissed multiple people on camera. Like the one was enough.
Yeah,
Were they having a hard time watching y'all?
Absolutely. I told them they had to skip so many scenes. I was like, oh boy, this is so embarrassing. My grandpa called me from India too, and he goes, that was hard to watch. I was like, oh, Grandpa,
really?
and I literally was like, Grandpa, I was acting. That was Netflix. It's okay. Poor guy. Yeah, my dad, he did.
Oh my gosh. What was I going to say? Yeah. I don't know.
I guess we can see Natalie on
I'll be the next Bachelorette. I'm just kidding.
We need you, Natalie. The show needs some help.
No, honestly, that show would rip me apart.
Why?
You Bachelor Nation, your fandom, that franchise is a whole nother animal than Love is Blind. Like Love is Blind is like the
Not
people
wholesome,
who
but-
not wholesome, but
It's like coupley. It's not just a competition of like, so many people for one love.
yeah. Like I'm not competitive. Like if a girl wants my guy, I'd be like, okay, like bye, you could have him. Like good luck. I'm like not competitive, and quite honestly, we just like, here's the thing about your franchise or the Bachelor Nation franchise. I hate to say it, but we just wouldn't fit in. We're just like two normal like girls from
Absolutely not.
Chicago. I would get ripped on your show.
Have y'all been out with any of the Bachelor people?
Yeah, we've met quite a few of them actually.
How's that been?
It's fun.
Yeah, I know Andrew Spencer and
Yeah, we
Justin
love Andrew.
Glaze because Andrew lives in Chicago.
Yep.
Or
Actually, he moved,
he did live in Chicago, now moved to LA. But I had met Andrew like last year, and everyone's really nice. I like the connection of us talking about like the mental health impact of being on TV. I like that we were able to talk about it with someone. But definitely like the people from your franchise, they're definitely like it's typically like very good looking like men and women who have really like fun personalities. Meanwhile, you've got like a diverse,
fun personality.
you got a diverse mix of be quiet. Dude, we were so boring.
I don't think y'all give yourselves enough credit now.
boring.
I was gonna say.
What?
I said y'all don't give yourselves any credit.
Well, one thing you don't know about Natalie, she's self-deprecating AF.
Uh-huh.
No, I think I'm just realistic.
With a stone cold face.
I know. I was like, excuse me.
Has there
Anyways.
been any Bachelor Nation Love is Blind hookups?
Not that we're gonna tell you about, Tyler.
Why
I
not?
was kidding.
Why can I know about the juice?
I was kidding. Maybe off air.
How many people are listening? And depends.
You're good.
Okay.
No, I don't. Do you know it? Do you know?
Obviously with any sort of, I think with people on reality TV, you tend to gravitate towards each other because
Common
we went through
backgrounds. Yep.
Coming out.
yeah. Like Tyler, should we talk about you and I, the date we went on last year? I wasn't sure if you want to bring it up or not.
Let's do it.
Wait, Tyler, if you could date anybody from our franchise, who would you pick?
I was trying to go through the list of all the girls earlier.
I guess you only know 3 and 4.
I figured this question would come. And Gia Nina asked me this. She asked me this question too. I think my answer would be the girls that I'm attracted to would be girls like looks wise would be like Raven, Jacqueline,
Yes.
right?
Jacqueline. Oh, Jacquelina.
Jacquelina. Yeah.
Yes.
But-
They're actually.
But Jacqueline and I would not work out. No. But Raven's cool. But I didn't like Raven at first. At
Me
first,
neither, actually. And then I grew to love her.
Then I grew to love her. I grew to really, really like her. Because at first, when she was doing jumping jacks, when Bartise was trying to talk to her, I was like, hell no, we're done with her. But then I realized I don't like Bartise at all. And, and so I'd probably say Raven. I don't know. That's probably the only single one that I know of from the show.
She
seems great. And she's
my
fit.
favorite.
She's athletic. She gets after it.
Yeah, she's gorge.
Yeah.
And she seems like a great person. I haven't met her yet, actually.
What about
I've
y'all?
talked to her.
What men from the Bachelor world would y'all like to date or see?
Oh, boy. Actually, I think you should go because you've talked to a few of them.
Okay, Natalie.
Sorry, I threw you under the bus there a little bit.
I don't know why I'm being so awkward.
No comment?
Literally, no. Well, here's the thing. I've actually never watched any of the Bachelor Nation shows. Like I've never watched. Like I just know the names.
Mm-hmm.
So like I've talked to some of them via DM, but I don't like know them. So that's why it's hard. Like I don't know who they really are.
So you gotta give me one
And
name.
Andrew-
One name. Did you say Andrew?
No. I said the only person like I really know is Andrew Spencer, who I've like actually hung out with, and he's like I think a really nice guy and a good friend. I don't think I would. Yeah, like he's just a really good friend. Gosh, I don't know.
That's a great question.
I don't know because I don't know like a lot of names.
I remember thinking there was a guy named Spencer who was really attractive.
Spencer.
I don't know his last name though, but I'm picturing his face in my mind.
I think he was on Tayshia's season, if I remember correctly.
I think so. But again,
Natalie's being quiet because Natalie's been doing some dirt. Natalie's been in Chicago hooking up with all the Chicago boys from Bachelor Nation. That's why she's being quiet.
Tell him what? I have nothing to tell. Okay, if there's oh my God. Wow, I have no idea. I honestly have no idea. I would I know he's married, but Wells. I think Wells is such a real
Wells.
If Wells was, he's like such a nice guy, and like he seems like a really kind guy that I was like, that's someone I would. What a cop
out answer.
But I mean, he obviously leveled up way higher than me. So I would go with someone like Wells because I don't know who's single in your world. Like, are you single, Tyler?
Yeah, I'm single.
No, I don't know why. I'd be so creepy.
Oh Lord! Hey, we lost Natalie, y'all.
She had to take a break because she was embarrassed.
I know. I got like all sweaty and everything.
All right, fine. I'm gonna give you a scenario, Natalie.
Okay. What's the scenario?
What's the clean version of FMK?
Oh, I knew he was gonna ask that.
Oh my gosh!
Yes, let's do it.
What's the clean? Isn't it like?
Fuck it. Fuck, marry, kill.
Fuck, marry, kill. Okay, let's do it.
All right. Ooh, fuck, nice. Marry, kill. You got Andrew Spencer.
Okay. Kill.
Marry.
You said kill right away. You got Grocery Store Joe. He's from Chicago too.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I don't know a third Chicago guy, so I'm gonna throw in Mike Johnson as number 3 because I see him hanging out with You Love Is Blind people a lot. So
I hung out with him at the reunion.
I haven't met him. Okay. Oh my gosh, this is so hard because I don't know if like Grocery Store Joe or Mike Johnson. Like I don't know. Like
it's all right. We're just going off of looks. We're gonna be very superficial today, y'all.
Okay. I think marry Mike Johnson. He's taken.
That's some good sex.
Grocery Store Joe and kill Andrew Spencer.
You're gonna kill Andrew Spencer, have a lot of sex with Grocery Store Joe, and have even more sex when you marry Mike Johnson. Love that for you. Wow. DT, would your answers change at all there?
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely marry Mike because he's lovely. And I think I'd kill Grocery Store Joe and
date Andrew.
Yeah. Is it date?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right? No, wait. It's F.
Yes.
All right. So I have some people wrote in today. Oh. And I got questions for y'all. It's not in that group chat. It's in this group chat. All right. How do you guys, this is from Jilly. How do you handle hate from social media and look so happy and calm about it?
I kill them with kindness. I think people forget when they leave comments or send you DMs that you're a real person sometimes. And so most of the time I ignore it, but sometimes I'll message back and be like, hey, I'm pretty confident, so these words aren't affecting me, but you really need to be careful how you like message people in the future on social media because other people might not have them like a strong mental health, whatever, you're impacting them. And they'll be like, oh my God, I had no idea you're a real person. I'm so sorry. So like, I like to kill them with kindness. That's my approach. Mm-hmm.
I just say they're cat ladies. What about you, Natalie?
You what?
I said, oh, look, it's another cat lady.
To be honest, I have like pretty thick skin since even like the show came out. Like, I think you just have to, I just ignore the comments. I rarely read my comments, or I just like remind myself like, these people don't know who I really am. And I just like, again, and then reminding myself again, I'm surrounded by amazing friends and family, and like, that's all I need. So that's kind of how I deal with it. It's just reminding myself of that.
Would y'all ever date a fan?
There's some really good looking fans that slide in my DM.
Hey, let's go, Deepti.
I was like, well,
She said,
maybe.
pull
But
up.
probably-
She said, pull up, meet me at Grinder's
Yeah.
Pizza Oven.
oh, Grinder Pizza. You can go there often.
Yeah, I've been there once. Or
funny.
Pequods.
Oh, I love
Pequods. Ooh,
pequods.
fire.
Yeah.
Chef's kiss.
What about you, Natalie?
Wait, do you get? Go ahead. Answer.
Oh no, I don't think I would.
No. What were you gonna say, DT?
Yeah.
No, I was gonna say, do you get any negative comments?
Yeah, I get negative comments
Yeah.
all the time. All the time. And
Right.
and usually I used to, like, back in the day, like, make jokes about it. Like, I would comment under it and, like, write something funny. And a lot of times I would go to their page to see what dirt I can find, and then come back and write something funny off of it. And so many times though, I would find like someone would write something crazy, and I go on her page. She'd have a ton of cats on her page. I'm like, look, guys, we found another cat lady, you know, and then but then what happened was everyone would pile onto it. I didn't like that.
Yeah.
I didn't like that either, you know, because then that person was getting a lot of harsh criticism. So I kind of just stopped giving negative things attention, you know.
Yes,
So,
I love that.
So but it was fun. It was a good time.
Well, it lasted.
Yeah. So now I just stay away from them. I thought you were going to ask me, would you ever date a fan? I say, I do it all the time.
Yeah, that too.
Just kidding.
You do all the time.
I'm just kidding.
You'll just wait until you get an influx of messages now after that comment was made.
Yeah,
They're like,
right.
oh my God.
But here's the thing, like I actually did go out with a guy who like came up to me at a bar and was like, oh, like I watched the show, I like you. Maybe he wasn't a fan, but he like saw it and definitely like came up to me because he saw me on the show. And we went on a date, and he worked at the same company as my cousin. And so then the next day after our date, so our date was on a Thursday, the next Friday he goes into the office and he's telling everyone about me. And like my cousin works on the same floor and she hears everything.
Shit.
Like Natalie from Love is Blind, like blah, blah, blah. She's like this, blah, blah, blah. And after that, I was like, I hate that.
That's
I need
terrible.
someone who is not a fan of the show or the fan of a franchise, because I think it's, I don't want them like a part of the world. Like if they heard of the show, maybe saw an episode, that's fine. I think if they're a fan, that's where I'm like, after that experience, I was like, I just can't, I can't do it.
Yeah. I can see Natalie over here stirring up the office.
I was like, he's like, Natalie
Part of the
sucks.
office
Natalie sucks. She's the worst.
Terrible stories.
Are you guys dating anybody right now?
Let me kind of.
Y'all are suspicious as hell.
I'm not dating. I'm single.
Okay.
I'm not like official or anything, but there's someone on the roster.
You got a roster?
Just like a very small roster.
Okay, this is a good point. I want to talk about this. First of all, how deep is the roster?
Like literally one.
So it's a bowling roster. You got one person bowling for you.
Yeah.
All right.
Actually, okay, maybe there's like 2 or 3, but there's one like a very significant number.
Gotcha. Now you got a shuffleboard team. You're getting up there. But when you're dating somebody, do you have a roster on backup?
Like on the back burner type of thing.
Uh-huh.
No, I'm very much a one man kind of girl. Like it just takes so much energy to talk to multiple people. You're like I just can't do it. It's too much.
I keep an open mind. So sometimes I do have sometimes there's like a couple of people and sometimes there's just one, but it's just like based on like the season of life. You know what I'm saying?
Or the seriousness of the relationship?
That too.
Yeah.
If you're in a real serious relationship, would you have some rosters in the back waiting?
No. See, I'm like Deepti. Like I don't have the effort. So if I'm in a serious relationship, I was like, I can't like manage a roster on the side, you know? Like, but when you're in the early stages of dating, yeah, am I dating like multiple people? Like, of course.
Yeah, as we all should be doing.
Yeah.
So you
Keep your
lock it
options
down.
open.
All right, why don't we go to this? Why don't we go into our call-ins? You want to do some call-ins?
Yeah, let's do some
Yes.
call-ins.
Let's do some call-ins.
Watch,
right,
it's gonna be that
I'm nervous.
that fan I dated. He goes, oh my God, she sucks.
All right, here we go. Let's see who we got.
I didn't know you did call-ins on your
that's actually
show.
really-
Yeah, we get call-ins.
That's really
And I know all my callers now. Like, what's up, Kylie?
Yeah, what's up, Ty?
How we doing?
Good, how you doing?
Good. We got Natalie and Deepti over here. We got a question for
Hi,
them?
Kylie.
Hey, what's up, girls?
Hi.
I kind of wanted you to get me in last because I wanted to go off on a good note, but I have a little bit of something from a new book I'm reading, and I think it's really good, and I just want you guys to listen to it, and it's not too long this time.
I'll be dropping knowledge every time she calls.
Please, let's go. I love that.
All right, ready? Real love is selfless and free from fear. It pours itself out upon the object of its affection without demanding any return. Its joy is in the joy of giving. Love is God in manifestation and the strongest magnetic force in the universe. Pure, unselfish love draws to itself its own. It does not need to seek or demand. And I think that puts love in such a perfect place. What do you think?
Oh, I love that.
No, I mean, Kylie, I think you nail it right there. But we just made love so damn complicated.
Yes.
I'm
I
a
agree.
little too convoluted with all the other things I was saying, but I think that one pinpointed it correctly.
Yeah. No, I think you nailed it there, Kylie.
Yay.
Well, I appreciate you. You
Kylie.
didn't get to finish it, but you started off with a bang. So I appreciate you, Kylie.
That's right, baby. Absolutely.
All right. I can't, Kylie, one day I'm going to have that chicken parmesan because you sound like you make a mean one.
Absolutely. Come to El Posto and Avalon this summer.
When I get to Avalon, yes.
Because that's a good surf place, but
Yeah.
I'll be in Avalon selling some nice fine Italian. It's homemade.
There we go. Rip it up, Kylie. I'll see you.
Peace.
All right. Here we go. We got Christine
Sounds
calling
like
in.
she sounds like a loyal one.
I know.
She
keep her
is.
close.
These two are loyal right here. Oh, where'd she go? Here she is. Christine, what up?
Yes.
How we doing?
I'm good. I'm finally on a chill day.
What's going on in your world, Christine?
Partying and whatnot.
No, Natalie,
Can you hear
Deepti,
me?
before Christine starts talking, I'm gonna let y'all know she's liable to be wild.
We love
that.
that. Girl.
Yeah, we love that.
Let's go.
Christine, what you got for us?
I'm a little... Okay, wait. I have a question because I've always been curious about this because I've only seen one season of The Love is Blind, and I don't know. It was just the first season when it first came out, but how hard was it for you guys to get past the, like, not being able to, like, see the person and, like, what they visually look like? Like, because I'm such, like, a visual person with, like, attraction, like, and seeing how they are and whatnot. How hard was that to get past to, like, only be able to, like, talk to them for, like, a certain period of time and, like, not have any idea what they look like?
For me, I liked it just because I've been judged so much in the past for how I looked. So I think it like gave a layer of like, I don't know, it was like more intimate weirdly. And that sounds weird, but like you also don't, like when you're on a first date, you like really think about your mannerisms, like how you look. Like if you're eating something, you like pick something off the menu that's not too messy. Like I'm not eating wings on a first date.
100%.
Things like that, so it kind of takes away like an added layer of pressure and you really focus on the content. Like you really focus on the intimacy and like what values you guys have.
Yeah. It was tough for me. I'm like definitely physical attraction is back then before the experiment was important to me.
Mm-hmm.
I think because everyone around you is doing it, you just learn to like, it's just a concept. So you just kind of naturally get over the fact. I think when you're actually in it, listening to someone's voice, you kind of realize in that moment, like what they look like doesn't matter. Like it's hard to explain, but when you're in it, and you're just hearing someone's voice and falling in love with like who they are in that moment, you just realize it doesn't matter, in my opinion. That's how I got through it.
When you guys like heard their voices, was it like either like an instant attraction or was it like nah, this is not my type? Like did you kind of already know just from like having conversations with these people and not seeing them?
So you get judged on the tone of your voice very often. Like I remember, I'm not saying this like to my own horn, but I think because of the way I spoke, like men really were like attracted to me the first day. So it definitely is a factor until you get to start knowing people more. And then they realize I'm such a bitch and they're like, okay, next.
There's definitely some sexy voices that are distinct.
I was just kidding about the bitch part. I'm not a bitch.
What'd you say,
I'm
Chris?
just curious because I was like, it's so interesting that you guys like did that, and I was always like, oh, I wonder what that is like. I just don't know if I could do it, but now that you're like saying that, it is quite interesting to think about it in that like perspective.
Yeah, it's like listening to a podcast.
Yeah.
So it's
And you gotta marry that podcast.
What was that?
And you gotta marry that podcast. And you get one
like, damn,
podcast for the rest of your life.
Podcast. Yes. Voices make a huge difference.
I'm married to this podcast.
We love you, Christine. Christine, thank you for calling, baby.
Miss you guys. Bye.
See you next week. All right, we're gonna wrap this show up, and I gotta ask you. You've probably gotten this question before, but I want to know, from your perspective now, is love blind?
I think love can be blind if it's the right person. If someone is willing to look over, if they value more of who you are on the inside and not care as much about the physical attraction. Listen, I think physical attraction is a must in a relationship, but if it's not the most important thing, yeah, I think love can be blind.
Natalie?
I actually think love is blind. I think in my situation, again, this was just my experience, but being with someone that I think I actually like really, really fell in love with and vice versa. And we would have never gone for each other in like the real world. Like we've talked about it, me and my fiance from the show, like we would have never been attracted to each other. Like if we saw each other at the bar, like it would have never happened. So I think in that way, I think the fact we were able to fall in love sight unseen, like for me, I think it is blind. And I think now dating it's, for me, I really don't care what someone looks like physically.
Yeah, that's good. It's amazing. That's a huge step. Yeah. Right there. All right, well, that wraps episode 45 of the Everybody But Me show. We'll be back next Tuesday. Deepti, Natalie, thank you so much. But now we're about to do Out of the Pods later on. So make sure you guys tune into that episode. I'm going to join their podcast right now. Love y'all. Have a wonderful night. And I'll see you next week, Tuesday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time.